Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about the squeeze page. So this is an example of a squeeze page. Don't worry too much about the colors and that sort of thing. You can make the colors anything you want. You know, in an ideal world, the color scheme would match wherever you're sending them to next, which would be the content page. So that's how you'd want to do it. In an ideal world, all of the color schemes would match the offer you send them to, but that's not possible in the beginning simply because we're going to be rotating the offers. So let's break this down step by step and talk about what needs to be where. All right. So the first thing you want and need is the logo. Okay, you need a logo. It needs to be there. In an ideal world, it will be hyperlinked to your homepage. Facebook doesn't, go too crazy if it's not, but in an ideal world, it is. Here, there's just some extra. It's an extra spot for text if you want. So you can use this to inject scarcity. You can use this to reaffirm whatever it is that you're talking about. You have options. So this is where everything gets started. The first thing we have is a headline, and the headline needs to be as close to the ad text as possible. So, we would kind of do this backwards in a sense, right? We would have the offer first, and then from the offer, we build the idea of the content, right? So we know what the content is about. And the content is going to inform how we position the squeeze page. And then the squeeze page is going to inform how we talk about the ad, okay? So just remember, you want from ad to content, you want as close to complete congruence as possible, all right? So if I'm going to use some sort of wording like ready to stop overpaying for car insurance, that needs to have been somewhere in my advertisement. And it also needs to be covered in my content, obviously. So this is a very basic headline construct, which is it's a question that is anchored to the thing they don't want. And the reason why you would ask that sort of question is because it's engineered to create a yes, and getting them to start saying yes will help the idea of the opt-in happening, okay? So, ready to stop overpaying for car insurance? Yes, I am. And then, so what we did was we introduced them to the problem, created a yes question, and also, like, the phrasing infers that you're going to be able to solve the problem, right? So, the subhead becomes the solution, and it's just a straight out what it is. Our free blueprint, 6 ways to easily lower your car insurance this week, will end the cycle of overpaying for good. Get my free blueprint. Okay? That's the call to action. I like to use the call to action in a personal sense, like with the word my, and then I like to just reaffirm getting. I don't like to just use click here now or download or something like that. I like to personalize it and get a little bit specific. Now here we have, this is like a traditional landing page construct, especially in the PPV world. This is what I'd call the image of the ideal. Okay, and what I mean by that is that it just represents something related to the market in some way, shape, or form. So if you were targeting, families, a happy-looking family just helps situate the whole idea, All right. I know that sounds really stupid, but it's a commonly used tactic where you're using an image that represents, an ultimate happiness from the situation, right? If you wanted to bring it to the next level, you would put a caption under here that would that would reinforce the benefits. That would be a very solid use of imagery and copy to make things happen. In terms of images of the ideal, if you're doing weight loss or muscle, it is still not safe to use any sort of transformative pictures, meaning, before after, so, fat and skinny or anything like that. Now's not the time to do that. So you'd still be muted in your message here. Just show somebody that's happy, or show somebody that, is in an experience that captures the ultimate motivation of the individual. Okay. And then here I just have, a visual cue that pushes them towards the button, to focus. That's not going to make or break the situation, but the visual cues also always help. And it also, filled the space here. So, a win-win. Now we move down into some of the content. This is just, the idea behind this is to, one, have stuff here, just so it's not a completely thin page. Like, if I just had this, it's not enough. Just adding this and adding a final call to action below really helps fill out the page. Again, I know it's stupid, but this is what they want of us. It's not good enough for the Facebook just to take our ad money. They also want us to, comply with their rules, which is silly, but whatever. What you'd want to do here are like 3 to 4 bullet points that continue the conversation that this started over here. Okay, the paying for the car insurance. So whatever the angle is and whatever you're offering, this continues the conversation. In an ideal world, you would spend the time agitating the problem if possible. Okay, so I'm agitating the problem. You're likely paying too much, and I continue that process by saying drivers can save an average of $8.59 a year by comparing car insurance rates. See how with our complimentary guide and free quote. Okay, so here I am reinforcing what I'm providing them. My only criticism of this is that I called it a guide instead of a blueprint. You want to keep the wording as congruent as possible. Also, I introduced a new idea, a free quote. Now, reason why I didn't put it here is because it would have just been too many words. Since the free quote is not on the next page, and this is what's on the next page, that's why I did that, okay? And then you see this little asterisk right here, that would be in reference to this. If I'm going to make a claim like this, what I have begun to do is if I'm going to make these claims, I'm going to source them, all right? And that's what the asterisk is, so that if you scrolled all the way down to the page, it's not on this page. But in general, if you scrolled all the way down, the asterisk would then be down there like a footnote, and it would source where I got this from. And I believe I got this from NerdWallet. Then this one is more benefit driven. See if you can lower your insurance for free. In addition to the blueprint, you'll also receive a hassle-free 2-minute complimentary auto quote search. Done instantly, no talking on the phone, 100% risk-free, no login required. So these things done instantly, no talking on the phone, 100% risk-free, no login required. I didn't come up with those. Those were on the different offer pages that I were looking at. These were different like bullet points and talking points that they used. So I'm guessing that they're putting that there because some people are hesitant to take action because they feel like some of these things would not happen. Like they feel like it wouldn't be instant. They feel like they'd have to get on the phone. They feel like there's risk involved, and they feel like they'd have to like create an account or something. So this is simply just objection handling. All right. And this one, again, kind of just piles on the problem, cuts through the confusion. Many consumers freely admit that there are some clauses and terms they simply do not understand when it comes to car insurance. This leads to situations where you may not be making the most informed and financially wise decision when it comes to picking your rates. So this just now talks about how they could be leaving money on the table or just spending more than they have to. On a bigger level, it sets, and I wouldn't get too crazy about this, but if you really want to look at it and what it's doing, I don't know how big of an effect it has in this situation simply because it's a one-off type of mention, but it creates a construct, and the us is the consumer, a bad car insurance company that's trying to obscure the language and obscure the situation so that you are paying more than you have to. So any sort of time where you can present something as an us versus them scenario and clearly align yourself on the side of the us, that's just a cheap way to pander to the people and get support. You've seen it all the time where in the internet marketing space where the big bad guru is screwing your life over, and we're not the big bad guru, so you can trust us. And then after we talk about that problem, again, I anchor the solution to what I'm providing, okay? And then finally, we end it with what would be not, I wouldn't call this like a traditional headline for a squeeze page, but this is like a call to action based headline. Click the button below to get instant access to our free blueprint, 6 ways to easily lower your car insurance this week, and an immediate free no hassle or obligation auto quote. Get my free blueprint. This one, the only reason why I kept it get my free blueprint is because I didn't want to have multiple different calls to action, because I didn't want to confuse them that perhaps clicking this button might bring them somewhere that this didn't. When you're dealing with people can be weird, and that's why I did that. That's why I also avoided the word download. It seems that older people that use the internet, when they hear download, some of them think that means that when they click this button, like something's going to be installed on their computer, and it's going to ruin their computer and ruin their lives. I learned that in the dog niche with one of my Facebook pages. I sent them to a squeeze page that said download something, and they lost their shit. I mean, completely lost their shit. So I don't do that anymore. So that's the end of this squeeze page. If I wanted to further this squeeze page, what I could do is use the next row as an FAQ type of situation that would reaffirm the fact that their privacy is safe, and give explanation as to why I want them to opt in. All right, so that's kind of what I would do. So when you click Get My Free Blueprint, it's the 2-step opt-in. So enter your name and email for free instant access to your blueprint and auto quote. I've been attempting to get names. I haven't seen it really drop off conversion wise. But I would flip these around. I'd have it name then email. I also would have this button match whatever the call to action button was. The reason why I didn't do that is because this page does not have a active opt-in form on it. So if I went to edit this, it wouldn't let me save it. So I just kept it like this. So that's how you create a squeeze page. It's really, really simple to do. Not too much work. And I'll link you to this page so that you can get an idea of what it looks like and all that stuff. And like I don't know if I said this in the main training, but anything I show you, I'll link I'll link to it and put it. I'll sanitize the page and put it on a dummy domain so that my stuff stays safe and the tracking doesn't get messed up, but you get to look at things that are actually been in the wild before. So this is how it works. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.